Hey guys, how you doing? How you doing? Yes, I'm trying to show them. Let me be. It's my birthday month. Okay, happy birthday to all the Gemini and Cancers. I think. Yeah, birthday is always a good thing. I don't remember shit, but I know I had fun. Anyway, welcome to another video. Uh, by Marcia Nyango, aka the Fab Philosopher. So today we're talking about Stoicism, which is by one of my favorite philosophers, Seneca, Mr. Seneca. So yeah, Stoicism is basically the act of, can I call it being indifferent or being prepared for the worst? Um, you know, in any situation that you're given. So as always, we're just gonna jump into it. Um, basically, being a Stoic to me has meant in any situation that you're in, and today we'll just be talking mostly about negative situations. So if you're in any negative situation, look at it from the worst viewpoint. See the worst of that situation and be okay with it. So let me give, for example, if you think or you have been told that you'll be fired for a job or you'll be put in probation or a disciplinary meeting or whatever, look at the worst that that situation can end up in. If you lose your job, what will be the worst thing that will happen? Will you lose your house? Will you lose your reputation? Will you lose your friends, your family? What is the worst situation that will happen? And then be okay with that. Just play it in your mind, as many times as you can, and then face the situation while already knowing what the worst outcome will be. So that even if it happens, even if the worst happens, you've already prepared your mind for it. So it won't catch you by surprise. You won't be as angry, you won't be as unprepared, and you'll be able to even, maybe come up with solutions for that worst situation. So that is basically to me what it means to be stoic. If you know you're going to face a negative situation in your life, just look at the worst possible outcome and prepare your mind for that, so that when it does happen, if it does happen, I'm not saying you'll be okay or it'll be easier to deal with, but you'll have at least prepared yourself for it. So the shock won't be as great, the challenge to overcome it won't be as great, and then the change that it brings won't be as great. And the thing is that we usually look at the worst outcome mostly in negative situations. But I realized even in a positive situation, let's say, for example, you're moving cities, or, I don't know, you've gotten a new house somewhere, you're moving out from your parents' house, you're moving out from your spouse's house, or you're even getting married, you're getting a child. These are really big changes, and they will have one way or another a negative impact, no matter how positive the situation is. So you have to prepare your mind for, you know, the outcome of the change. What happens, when you move out of, let's say, your family house? Like, for example, I have a really big family, so there's like a lot of people in the house most of the time. So when I moved out, I didn't expect, the silence. Though I've always had my own space, I hadn't prepared myself mentally for, for the silence, for just coming home to that complete, silence. No one asking you how your day was, no one welcoming you back home. I hadn't prepared my mind for that outcome. I just moved out thinking, I'll bounce back and I'll be okay. But I realized that you actually have to sit down and write down, or maybe just visualize all the outcomes a change will bring. If it's a child, how is your lifestyle going to change? How is, your normal routine going to change? Even the smallest of things, you have to literally put them into consideration, so that when they actually do happen, your mind kind of has, a notice. It has, it's not shocked. It's not thrown into utter shock to the point where now it has a very hard time adjusting, where you might even end up having to regress or go into depression, or it might take you a longer time to adapt. So what I've realized about being stoic is that being able to picture every possible outcome, to a situation, to a change in your life, all the way to the negative end, starting from positive all the way to the worst possible outcome. When you're building a house, when you're buying a house, you have to picture the worst possible outcome. This house might burn into flames, like it might burst into flames. You might have pipes leaking, you might have electrical issues, you might have, I don't know, infestation. So you have to put all these things into consideration, when you're moving out, when you're building a house, and make your mind okay with it, so that in the event that they do happen, because I've noticed that in life we tend to really focus on the positive things, on the positive situations, but life is a balance. It's everything, it's yin and yang. So if good things happen, bad things will also happen. They might be a plumbing leak, they might be an electrical fire, they might be these things. They do happen, and we tend to ignore them, or even if we pay attention to them, the most we do is just take insurance and then forget all about it, which is still a very good thing. But mentally reminding your mind that this can happen, and if it does, you will be okay, you will overcome it, and you will be able to move on to the next phase of your life. So I try to make it a daily habit or at least a weekly habit to just remind myself that in any situation I'm in, negative or positive, that there are certain outcomes that come with that situation, and I should be aware that these outcomes might happen. And once I do that, most of, I can say, the negative things that happen become a bit easier to deal with, or just find solutions or go through, because I don't get as shocked or as awed by it, because I consciously and literally sat myself down and was like, okay, this might happen, then what next? So just sometimes making yourself aware of all the possible outcomes of a situation can make it so much easier, to navigate through. The example Seneca gave for this was